back in Salt Lake City, Utah for the last round of 16 match of the afternoon. It's Andy
So
Nett.
far,
Oh, sorry.
Sorry to interrupt that opening, Dave, that you had going. I thought you were actually tailing it off, but thus far today, Dave, all 3 qualifiers have defeated Elite 8 players.
That's unbelievable.
Shorty Ruiz will become the 4th. That'll be a Yahtzee.
If he becomes the 4th.
Well, if he becomes the 4th,
I don't necessarily think he's going to become the 4th here. This is going to be that's a huge mountain to climb. Mount Nett.
Well, Mount Nett stands at 6'3", Dave.
That's a tall mountain.
And you have to realize Shorty's coming from a pretty small mountain at about 5'2". So if you look at it in those terms, that's a lot of inches to make up.
Well, I look at this one as one of those key matches for Shorty Ruiz. Let's say he were to get past Andy Nett. I would say that he's probably arrived, Dave, as one of those players that could be a good challenger in qualifiers next year, and maybe even pick off some of these top players and beyond, because he's really picking up his small ball, 4-wall game, but certainly just moving forward, this guy has a lot of talent, and we see it every time we watch him. He makes a lot of hand airs, but he certainly knows how to play the game of handball, and he's not fazed by anything.
Well, I've seen Shorty, Dave, play 5 or 8 points in a row as well as anybody in the world, and then it's like he takes 10 or 12 points off. So, you know, Shorty needs to find that consistency. You know, I've seen him struggle a little bit with that, Dave, in big ball, where he's just absolutely dynamic for 5 or 6 points, flat rolling, and then he'll go into kind of a funk where he'll start missing. We've seen Shorty in Vegas where he put everything together that year that he slammed, Dave, the small ball singles and the small ball doubles and the big ball doubles. I mean, that was absolutely incredible. Just played the whole weekend at such a high level. Don't know what the delay is here.
You hear the announcement from our referee, Anthony Celesto, who uses hand signals with me here, telling him that it's okay as he can see us through the reflection of the glass.
Shorty Ruiz, returning serve, Andy Nett.
And we are on air live now at racefor8.com. 0-0. Shorty Ruiz serving to Andy Nett. And this is a huge forward to back.
It was actually a bad break for Shorty.
We have no court sounds coming into the headphones here, but nonetheless, we certainly will get those.
Play 0.
And this will be telling here. How does Shorty handle this serve from Andy Nett?
Short.
Andy didn't put
Second
everything
serve.
into that first serve. Looks like he might be working his way into full velocity.
Wow, that's a nice left-handed corner kill right there from Shorty Ruiz. I know that they're working on the audio of the court sounds.
Play 0.
Well, every minute is another fine.
Perhaps those at home could hear, so that's good. That's another nice kill shot. And as you can see, when Shorty does his things right, it's really just unbelievable. He flat rolls the ball out.
Shorty, Dave, already has 2 back wall kills in this match. And this is a guy at the beginning of the season that looked like he wanted no part of the back wall.
And Andy just showed Shorty that he can get some of Shorty's tomahawks and corner kills right there. That was a nice diving.
Well, that was an interesting pre-dive that went cross court into the left corner. I have to ask Andy if he was going for that
No,
shot.
he wasn't. I think he palmed that ball.
Yeah, a little bit higher on his hand.
Sometimes it hits off the palm of your hand and just shoots off to the left.
1-0.
But it fooled Shorty. Now, don't forget, Shorty's also got an amazing serve himself. I don't think it's at Andy Nett's level, but he does do some things if he can get in there and get comfortable.
Plays 1.
Score 0-1. A left-handed paddle return. That was more of an excuse me type of kill shot from Shorty Ruiz.
Play 0.
Well, Dave, Shorty has already executed 4 kill shots in this match, and it's only 1-0. At that rate, Dave, you'd have to say he's going to hit over 100 kill shots in this match.
Shorty tries to muscle that ball. How many kills does he have now?
0.
Already with 4.
4 kills and 1 hand air. Shorty needs to keep that below the 25% mark. I thought it was good.
Short ball.
This will be appealed.
On the line, short. I don't have lines judges.
Oh, that's 3 in a row.
Danny.
Referees have not been able to get
Short
line
ball,
judges here
second
for
serve.
some reason. There's only 200 to 300 people standing around. I can see where
Second
the
serve.
odds are so hard to get one. I have to find our lead ref for not enforcing that at the ref party. And there's another dip-in miss shot from
Point.
Shorty Ruiz.
And I think, Dave,
One
what we'll
plays
see
one.
here in this match is the match will be on Shorty's hand. He'll go for his kills. He's going to make kills and airs. For Shorty, he'll have to obviously make more kills than airs.
Well, and when he does it, when he's serving and when he's not serving. And he makes an air while he's serving. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but he makes a lot of errors when he's returning the serve.
Well, the X factor, Dave, besides Shorty's
2
airs,
plays
will
one.
be how many unreturned serves Andy Nett is able to hit. I believe, Dave, if Andy Nett hits 7 or more, you'll see him win this match comfortably. We've seen Andy Nett in the past. They've hit 15 aces in one match, a one-game match.
I think you played against him when he's done that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And he got a little fooled there on that glass side wall. See what Shorty, if he gets comfortable in the
Plays
service box,
3.
I think he can dominate.
You know, Dave, Andy Nett has struggled against kind of these outdoor hard hitters in 4-well. He's played Tyree, who plays a similar style to Shorty,
plays
and
one.
lost to Tyree.
Second serve.
Referee did not call short there, Dave, and that was right on the line. I mean, I don't think that was as obvious as he made it seem.
4 plays 1.
And now Dave Shorty with 4 airs. It's been 3 airs since he hit his last kill shot.
Point. Five plays 1.
And now Shorty, Dave, just unraveling with airs right now.
6 plays 1.
And another unbelievable ace there, Dave. Now 2 ace serves for Andy Nett, both, of course, down the right. Doesn't
Seven
hit many
plays 1.
aces to the left, but serve is so good down the right, even if you read it, it's hard to return
Short.
it.
Short ball.
Andy throws a little reverse on that down the left. Normally hits a natural
Second serve.
behind himself.
I think that's an effective serve for Andy, but you have to be spot on, and now Shorty's going to have to call a timeout. And he's going to
Timeout.
do
It's
it.
your first.
We're also
Team
going to take
plays
one. We'll be
with
back
free
in
throw.
60 seconds. Stay here at racefor8.com.
I'm not ready to think about anything. 30 seconds. Play resumes. 8 plays 1. Short ball. Second serve.
Another bad air there from Shorty. Dave, how much does it hurt Shorty Ruiz that he got a forfeit in that qualifier final? Didn't get
9
really any
plays 1.
matches under his belt coming into this match today.
Short ball.
He was supposed to play you,
Second
but you had to
serve.
back out with a leg injury.
I don't know if it hurts him so much, but he was very upset that he didn't have a chance to play that extra match. And I thought that maybe we would do the lucky loser and have them play Shorty, but then it would be unfair to Shorty. He was game for it. I mean, you have to understand these outdoor big ball players are used to playing 4 or 5 matches in one day. And it's not that he has a short attention span. He just wants to get in there and play. He just loves the game of handball.
Yeah.
And it's just part of the culture.
Anytime you're planning on playing and becomes a forfeit, it's frustrating.
2 plays 9.
And this is what Shorty can do. First strike master. If you give him a look, Dave, on the first shot after his serve,
3 plays 9.
he's really able to get into a groove. Good return there from Andy. Now Andy's in the front court.
And those are the hand airs I talked about in the opening of the pregame. Shorty just, for some
9
reason,
plays 3.
he just makes these hand airs. And it's not always off the back wall. It's sometimes near the dotted line. It doesn't really matter. But conversely, he makes some of the most amazing elite shots that you've ever seen as well. I do believe his back wall game is suffering just a bit.
Well, it's improving, but still probably not at the level of some of these top guys. That's a great shot there from Shorty.
I just think that he sometimes takes his eye off it right about the moment of impact off the back wall.
You know, Dave, they've done studies, and athletes don't actually see the ball hitting their hand or their racket or whatever it may be. But what happens
10
is you pull your
plays
head
3.
up, and it changes everything.
I think when he pulls his head up, he's doing it to get torque on the ball. And that right there, you know, you see the player just want to overhit that ball.
Well, sometimes it's a little bit of anxiety also. You might be a little bit nervous, and then you don't stay as still as you should have. And I know you know that from batting, Dave, that you have to keep everything
3
still
plays 10.
and just use those big muscles. Otherwise, you know, you're changing your spine angle, your center of gravity, and then you're going to make all kind of weird mistakes.
Well, that's why footwork is so amazing, you know, important in this
10
game.
plays 3.
Well, I think, Dave, we talk about the footwork of Katrina Casey and Malton Kearns. It's so simple, and they take as little steps as possible by getting in the right position. Those are two of the best ball strikers in the sport right now. They just don't make a lot of hand airs, if any.
3 plays 10.
A lot of young families here, Dave, this weekend. A lot of these guys here in Utah just starting families or having
4
young
plays
babies
10.
here at the courts, and it's really great to see those youngsters here at the courts that we know will be handball players in just a couple of years.
They will too. But you know, Dave, you as a new father, you must hear that baby cry and think, oh, I miss my
10
son.
plays 4.
Probably just sends a little trigger
Yeah.
saying, where's baby Henry at?
Well,
10 to
baby
4.
Henry is unfortunately under the weather. He and mom at home.
Well, that's your fault.
I know that, actually. Amazing shot there from Shorty. Inside out, open stance from 38 feet, and he drives the ball with a lot of power.
4 plays 10.
Dave, Vic Perez in his second round of 8 in race history here, and ironically at the same spot
10 plays 4.
as he accomplished last year, Salt Lake City. Something about Salt Lake City and Vic Perez. We'll see him in our first match after our afternoon break. Another ace from Andy Nett. Andy Nett now, Dave, with
11 plays 4.
3 unreturned serves out of his 11 points. So, and make that 4. That was an amazing serve down the left. Dave, believe it or not, 2 of Andy's 4 aces are down the
12
left.
plays 4. Short ball.
Dave, Andy will run into Charlie Shanks if he were to win this match. And those two have played
Second
twice
serve.
this year. Actually, 3 times if you count the World Championship. Shanks winning 2 out of 3. But I love watching those guys play, Dave, because they both got amazing serves. They've got unbelievable length. They're both well over 6 feet tall, which is gigantic for a handball player. And the matchup, Dave, is just so
13
interesting.
plays 4.
Score is 13-4, and there's lasers being hit out here. I'm almost certain that Andy Nett's probably the hardest hitter that Shorty Ruiz has ever faced.
Well, Shorty's played Luis Moreno a number of times.
14 plays 4.
I noticed Dave Andy Nett hitting the ball harder now with his left. In fact, our statistician, Gene Kazimoto, who is here this week, tells me he's averaging thus far in this match 54 miles per hour with his left hand. Thus far for the season, Dave, he's only averaging 39 miles per hour with his left hand. So you can see he's really ratcheted up that
4 plays 14.
velocity with his left.
Don't use the word ratchet and Shorty Ruiz in the same sentence.
Okay.
He'll let you know that soon.
Mm.
He gets text messages. Shorty, some might say, is not wearing a WPH approved shirt, but in reality, that is the Big Ball
14
WPH
plays 4.
Outdoor Nationals shirt that he's wearing right there.
Short ball.
He's one of the qualifiers already.
So we'll have to cancel that, that invoice.
Yeah, I was gonna
Second
charge
serve.
him $35 as a fine. Looks like you're not gonna have to do it though.
And another
Halftime,
underturned serve.
3 minutes, guys.
It seems like Shorty Ruiz lost his confidence there, Dave. He got off to a pretty good start and then just doesn't seem like he has the self-belief right now against Andy, who is all business, like he always is. And Andy Nett with 5 unreturned serves going into halftime. So a third of his points coming on those unreturned serves. Shorty Ruiz now with 10 airs, so he scored several of his points on Shorty's airs, and he's also made some rollouts. And Shorty, Dave, unfortunately has double the amount of airs as he does kills, and 4 of his 5 kills, Dave, were hit in the first 6 rallies of the match, and those were mostly side outs.
Well, we're going to take a quick break here. Be back in about 2 minutes. I want you to stay around. More action here at racefor8.com. Stick with us.
It's Timothy Green's first day at school.
What's in there? He's about to fall over.
Anything he might need. There's a box of tissues on the bottom and some Band-Aids. There's a whole first aid kit, actually.
Mom, I can handle it from here.
You don't have to be perfect
Have a great day.
That's too much pressure.
Have the day you have.
to be a perfect parent.
There are 2 people in the world who want you more than anything. They'll make some mistakes, but they will love you more than you can ever imagine.
There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
We are back live here with Andy Nett serving.
Here we go. Play resumes. 15 plays 4. Short.
Dave, we have Tracy Davis on the
Second
sidelines
serve.
doing interviews as well as taking pictures, and those will be uploaded later tonight, Dave. I know you won't be able to do it. You'll be at some victory parties tonight, but
16 plays
they
4.
will be uploaded
Really? Uploaded to what?
to the internet.
Okay. All right. I guess it sounds like I'm going to be the one that's going to be uploading them.
Well, I said you'll be at victory parties, so you won't be able to do it.
Well, I find a way to do all that, as you know.
4 plays 16.
It seems like Andy Nett saw the script coming into this match, beautiful corner kill, and did not want to be the 4th Elite 8 victim to go down to a qualifier, and he's making sure of it here, Dave.
16 plays 4.
Remember, Emmett led Malton Marquardt 15-8 before losing that match, but this doesn't have the same feel. A lot of power there from Shorty.
4 plays 16.
There's a big setup right there. Andy Nett goes hard and low. Shorty does more than just paddle the ball. He kind of pushes it back with a little bit more power. Goes inside out with a typical Shorty shot, and it was short.
I think that's the right shot there, Dave, but
16 plays 4.
Shorty just didn't quite give it enough.
I'm sure the late, great Pat Summerall used to get up in the booth and stretch and do yoga exercises.
Actually, every time I've ever seen them go to the booth, the announcers are
17-4.
standing up. I can't help it that you want to sit down for 14 hours a day.
Hinder ball. $17-4.
Shorty Ruiz, Dave, will be competing in the 3-wall big ball nationals. That'll be June 1st and 2nd
4 plays 17.
in Venice Beach. That'll be one of the most anticipated, highly anticipated matches or events of the year. There's been already, Dave,
5 plays 17.
6 or 7 qualifiers to earn a spot in that event. I believe
Short.
that there's at least 10 more scheduled between now and
Second
June
serve.
1st. All you have to do is be a WPH member, and you can enter.
Oh, look at that little paddle right there from Andy Nett. Andrew, underhand, scoops that ball into the left corner and gets the side out.
17 plays 5.
We're at 17-5 here. See what Shorty does here. He's been hitting these in the ground. And that one he didn't.
Shorty grew up playing small ball handball, Dave. Played in the junior nationals
5 plays 17.
in 4-wall. So it's not as though he's a big ball player converting to small ball, but I believe, Dave, and I'd have to check with my sources, but he took some time off from playing small ball 4-wall. So when he started playing this year, it was a little bit of rust as he was used to playing with the big ball.
Six plays 17.
I was really looking forward to playing Shorty. If I was in shape, it would be a fun match. Because I think we complement each other to a 24-26 victory with me losing because of the black cloud.
17 plays 6.
But still, I think it would have been a fun match like that. When I say compliment, I mean
oh, that's just terrible.
those type of
Unfortunate
shots.
there
I give a lot of back wall setups,
Uh-huh.
and I think he'd hit a lot in the ground, but I think what he would do good is something I don't like. That is those good serves. He also has a nice
18
wrinkle.
plays 6.
But unfortunately, because of the injury and the crutches that ensued.
Timeout.
Well, I think your injury is a
19-6
crutch,
when you
isn't?
resume.
Is that what you meant?
It's your
Yes.
second. 1 minute.
And you see the outdoor director of the WPH, the lady responsible for so many of the great things that are happening, Dave, outside in Southern California, Ashley Moeller, trying to coach her boyfriend, Shorty Ruiz, back into this match?
I believe fiance.
I know that you like to jump the gun on those kind of things, Dave, so I'm not going to take your word for it. I'm going to have to wait to hear that and see that sparkling diamond before I commit to that.
Well, I believe that you will feel sorry and publicly.
Well, I'm not declaring it one way or the other.
Okay, I just believe.
Yeah, I won't have to apologize.
Well, you're going to, though.
Well, I don't think I will.
Well,
I'm just
you're
saying
going
I
to
haven't
have
been
to.
informed.
You will have to when you get the letter from the board of directors. Because I find this quite insulting.
Yeah, I bet. I'm sure I'll be hearing from our chairman, Mr. Charles Charveau.
There you see
10
Martin
seconds.
Mulkern sitting next to the Throb from Wisconsin, Anthony Celesto, to Anthony's right, our left. Martin Mulkerns came in as unranked, never qualified, amateur player, defeats Emmett Pichot in the round of 16 to go into the quarters, who he will now face Sean Lenning tonight.
I mean, Martin Kearns in the round of 16 plays a former number 1. In the round of 8 plays a former number 1. If he were to win that, he would play Charlie Shanks, the current number 1.
Oof, this sounds like a great story.
If he were to win that, Dave, Luis Moreno could possibly be waiting for him, who's also the former number 1.
He would be the new number 1 if Charlie lost in that round.
Yeah, so that would be unprecedented.
I actually believe it would be time to retire, possibly. Want to say hello to my wife, who is watching this live broadcast. Normally she's here as our chief photographer, but she's back in Tucson, Arizona.
She's not a director then.
She's in Tucson, Arizona, doing her job back at the WPH headquarters.
21 plays
on
6.
Fort Lowell.
Yeah.
And I know that Lolita and you are great friends. She always sits to my left in Liar's Dice. And
she takes it all in stride,
22 plays 6.
Just enjoys the game for what it is.
Short.
Win or lose.
Yeah. Speaking of winning or losing, you didn't do too well
Second serve.
last night, Dave.
I lost one and I won one.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Well, I lost both.
Now Shorty's scoring a little bit of, or getting a few side outs and scoring points. But that usually happens when
6 plays 22.
the player with that strong lead just feels like, well, I'm going to get a couple points here. I'm not going to kill myself. And your opponent then starts feeling a little bit more relaxed.
That's a good shot from Shorty. Stiff arm fist.
Actually, that was an open hand stiff arm, Dave. And that's
Oh,
something
excuse
that
me,
he lets that
you're
ball
right.
roll
7
out,
plays
kind of like
22.
John Bike does.
Yeah.
It's a cutter. It's a reverse upside down cut.
So you're a cutter then?
Well, he is. I tried to do it, and I hit it right in the ground. He has to have perfect timing, but when the ball hits the front wall, it just flattens out.
22 plays 7.
Love that shot there from Shorty. Runs it right on the wall. Big setup, and he takes care of it. This is kind of, Dave, where you're playing for respectability when you're down 22-7 as the guy leading. You know you have another match later today. Maybe you don't want to completely kill yourself.
Well, also, these players really look forward to those playoff matches. Some of these guys, I like that shot right there too. That's a push. That's a push flop. Left corner.
8 plays 22.
Shorty does that shot different than anybody else. He actually
Short
will
ball.
push it as opposed to using the big wind-up roundhouse.
Second serve.
He just does a quick little punch. Some players use a fist on that. But Shorty, he wants to get to about 11 points or 12 because a lot of these other players are getting 11 or 12. And he knows how the rules here are with the WPH. Sometimes to break ties, it's about how many points you score in certain rounds. He knows this.
So you're going into Rule 47.
Yeah, he's 47.
Dash 7C.
I just thought it was C, but you might be right.
Oh.
Shorty's trying to get at least a 12 or 11, I guess. And also, he wants to be fresh in those playoffs.
You know, Dave, Andy Nett came into this event 2.5 points behind Emmett Pichot on the season. Emmett Pichot lost in the first round here. Andy would need to finish, of course, at least 3 points higher than Emmett in this event to take over that spot in the standings. it's a possibility, particularly if Andy wins his next round. He's
Short ball.
guaranteed of doing that. Of course, we know the Nett jinx, which
Second serve.
has seen him lose in all of his quarterfinal matches this season and the end of last season.
There it is. Andy Nett takes down
Nice match, guys.
Shorty Ruiz 25-8 and advances to the quarterfinals. And now we look forward to the 3 o'clock David Fink versus Vic Perez match. Dave, what will Vic Perez have to do to beat David Fink?
Well, I think Vic Perez matches up pretty well against me, Dave. It's a kind of an Aaron Garner style of play. He's very consistent. He plays the right shots. He's strong, and he makes a lot of gets, and he's fit. So, you know, I'll have to go in there and win. Yeah, he's certainly not going to give me anything. I'm looking forward to it. We had a good match last year at the LAAC, which was his home club, and haven't matched up since then, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good one.
Now, you have an hour and a half to prepare for that. What are
Yeah.
you going to do between now and then?
I'm gonna actually try and relax,
Okay,
believe
good.
it or not.
Martin Mulkerns, Sean Lenning at 4 o'clock. Then it's Luis Moreno for the first time on the broadcast up against Abraham Montijo. Old schoolmates and buddies from the same neighborhood are going to go up against each other at 5 o'clock. 6 will be Charles Shanks and Andrew Nett. And then we, of course, will have a couple senior matches, which, Dave, I know that you don't normally stick around for some of those side matches, but
Yeah.
listen to this. Matt McLaughlin, Dan Armijo,
Yeah.
and Chris Watkins versus Andy Shad.
Yeah, those are good.
Both of those will be fun, 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock tonight. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in 1 hour and 30 minutes to catch that first one. Dave Fink and Vic Perez at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. Tell your friends, please tell them to tune into this live broadcast. For Linda Manning, Dave Fink, Justin Garrad, my name is Dave Vincent. We'll be back soon. Stay here at racerate.com.
It's Timothy Green's first day at school.
What's in there? He's
Well,
about to
just
fall
anything
over.
he might need. There's a box of tissues on the bottom and some Band-Aids. There's a whole first aid kit, actually.
Mom, I can handle it from here.
You don't have to be perfect
Have a great day.
That's too much pressure.
Have the day you have.
to be a perfect parent.
There are 2 people in the world who want you more than anything. They'll make some mistakes, but they will love you more than you can ever imagine.
There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
My name is Bruce Fabrizio. In 1975, I invented Simple Green based on 3 principles. It had to be safer to use, it had to work, and it had to be completely made in America. From generation to generation, Simple Green has been cleaning everything from car engines and tools to kitchen counters and floors. No matter what you clean, indoors or outdoors, clean it with non-toxic, biodegradable Simple Green.
Rethink what you know about this Vegas icon. Elevate your expectations at the Stratosphere Hotel, Casino, and Tower. See what's new, up, down, and all around.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.